Okay, wow. We have deception as an underlying energy here. Don't panic. It doesn't always mean what we think it means. And let me just take in these energies for you because we have five cards from the Romance Angels deck, which makes sense if we're doing this renewal. Like we need more information in order to do a full life review here. But let's just take a look here because it makes sense that we have new love coming in here because we have the Magician. This is a new path that you're on, taking charge of your life, having everything in your tool belt that you need to be successful, right? Taking charge, moving forward. You have the Ace of Winter, brand new idea, new epiphany, new clarity coming in, the potential for great clarity, the potential for a successful new way of thinking about yourself in love here. And then you're doing all this review, major arcana energy as well. A compassionate review of where you've been, what's your family like? What have you accomplished? What do you want to accomplish as you go forward? It's going to play out differently for everybody. For those of you who are married, you may be looking back at your marriage and thinking, regardless of whether you're still together or divorced, how did everything play out? Why did it play out the way that it did? What do I want to do in the future? What do I want to, have in love in the future? How do I want to be in love in the future? So all of that energy. And if you're single, same kind of thing, just looking back at your past and considering, the different patterns that have shown up in your love life, the different kinds of people, showing up, the ways that you were with those people, all of that being at play here. And then we have the Magician card. Let's just look at that because let me get one more card for you. I don't want to jump around, but I'm feeling like I am. Get one more card for Pisces. Two of Cups. Very nice. In the area of physical and sexual intimacy, we have the Two of Cups energy. Lovely energy, Pisces. Feeling as though you are being honored and nurtured, and your passion is being reciprocated, and it's just very two people giving to each other, emotional bonding here in the area of physical and sexual intimacy. All right, so let's start here with the Magician card and the true love. As I feel this for you, Pisces, it's an energy, right, that we're talking about. So it's going to play out differently for everybody. But most importantly, because we have you right on top of it and we have his staff going right down into true love, I feel like for many of you, Pisces, from all of you, energetically, actually, but you may feel it differently and it may show up differently, but there is this great sense of love for self. Like you are falling more deeply in love with yourself as you review. You're doing this whole review, right? So a new way of kind of thinking about yourself, like you're starting to understand just how deeply you are loved by the divine, the way that you love yourself, the things you like about yourself, and what you like about yourself. It's like you're drawing. I feel like the staff is also drawing up, like from below, this true love. The things that you love about yourself, you're pulling them forward so you can take them out into the world, into love, into the bedroom, into your romantic partnerships, into your romantic interludes, and you're bringing those out. And what isn't your favorite part of yourself, because you're doing this whole review, you're looking at compassionately and dispassionately and letting it go. That's kind of how it feels for me for you, Pisces. It's really, really actually so lovely as I feel it for you. And the text of this card says, this is the romance of a lifetime. For many of you, this will manifest in an actual person, a partnership. It could be someone you're already with, and you're just looking at them with new eyes, and they to you. And you're beginning a whole new cycle together for those of you who are happily partnered. For those of you who are single and hoping to experience a loving partnership, it does look like the more that you love yourself, the more that you are going to be available for this true love energy that is available to you during this time period. I really like it for you. And then we have this Ace of Winter energy. As I've already mentioned, all this potential for clarity, for ideas coming forward that make sense to you, a new way of thinking, an epiphany about yourself and love, about maybe your partner. The text of this card for you, I'll read it to you, Pisces, says, don't be deterred by challenges along the way. It's important to communicate clearly and accurately. Amazing new ideas that should be implemented. I think for those of you in particular who are coupled, this is the more that you can be clear about what it is you want, and I feel like you will be because you're getting more in love with yourself, so you're being less inclined to smother that or to choke back how you feel. You're going to just be wanting to express yourself very clearly so that your partner can understand you as best as they are able. And that's how it feels for me. It's about this idea of communication, potential communications coming in. But here we do have the signs are cautioning you. Pay attention to the red flags. And I think it's because we have this right above it. You're wanting so much clarity. There's this energy of newness, of potential ideas being brought forth and making so much sense to you. And here we have, it's going to be so important for you to take off any lingering veils of illusion, right? Lifting up the veil of secrecy, the veil of illusion, the veil of complacency, especially if you're already partnered, so you can see each other clearly and your partner can see you. It's not just about pay attention to the red flags in terms of what your partner is doing. It's about who are you showing yourself to be to your partner. And if you're single, the same thing. Are you hiding behind something, or are you being as clear as you can be about who you are and what you want and how you want to present yourself as well? That's what that is about for you, for me. It's not so much about necessarily an individual, although it can be. For me, as I'm feeling it with that Ace of Winter, it's about being really, really clear on how you are, what you want, as well as what your partner or potential partner shows there. During this time period, it's just really important to be as clear and communicative as possible in this area. We have this renewal card I've already spoken to quite a bit, and it's really nice because as I interpret it for those of you who are coupled, there is a renewal and then a new beginning, right? So it's like you've done this life review, you're coming back to this new way of seeing your partner, new love for your partner, new love for self, new love for your partnership, for the family that you've created, however it plays out for you. It's different, if you don't have a family, but for those of you who do. And then for those of you who are single, because you're doing this review, because you're taking off, you're really showing yourself, you're being more and more clear about who you are. You're not hiding behind any kind of veil, any kind of persona here. You're able to, as I already mentioned, taking the parts of yourself that you really, really love and bringing them out. That opens you up to new love coming in because you're being so much more open and honest and raw about who you are. That's how it feels to me. And with that, there comes all this potential for this beautiful connection in the area of physical and sexual intimacy. It's really, really beautiful. And we have this deception card underneath the deck here. And I think this is just, once again, talking about taking off the masks that you're showing yourselves in partnership, taking off the masks that are preventing you from showing yourselves. And if you are single as well, don't put on a persona, just be real, Pisces. That's what people respond to. People know when you're not being true, and it's confusing to people. And at least when you're honest about who you are, people can either love you or hate you, but at least they know. There's a sense of clarity, which is what you're trying to have here. You're a strong desire for clarity during this time period. And so I really feel like that's what you're going to get. Now we also have this card that did come out. It kind of dropped out, the finances and career. And I feel like this is kind of in the past position. There may be this lingering feeling of worry or anxiety or even focus just on finances and career. Financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. And I feel like for me, it is kind of falling into, it's going to be kind of like a tail kind of still coming in here during this time period from the prior time period, but it's still a factor. So, be aware of it. If your partner is kind of focused on that, just allow for that. And also, I really feel like for many of you, look at the way that you provide safety and security and stability in your partnership, because I'm really drawn to the red, which is where we feel safe in the world. And for many people, having money in the bank creates a sense of safety and security for them. And so you want to also look at kind of, as not so much to your partner here, Pisces, but to you, how do you contribute to this sense of safety and security within the partnership? And if you're single, how are you presenting yourself? Because we have this idea of pay attention to the red flags, the deception. How are you presenting yourself as being less financially stable than you really are, or more financially stable than you really are? And how are you looking towards someone else to provide that for you? You know, it all stems from self. You know, you come back to your own heart chakra. You get out of your ego linear conscious mind. You bring it back to your heart chakra, Pisces, and you remind yourself that you are the number one supporter and provider for you. You know, not someone else. And that allows for, when you do have a partnership, that it's more, you're not looking for them to provide that for you, that you already have a sense of stability and security within self already. So that's a message for some of you, not for all of you. Okay, I'm going to get 3 cards on this Two of Cups, and then I'm going to close out your reading, Pisces. But it looks like a lot happening for you during this time period. Again, these you've probably mentioned it before, but these energies are present prior to this, and will also extend beyond. There's no hard stops to these energies. So it looks like with this Two of Cups, there is cause for celebration here. We also do have more new energy, the dreamer taking a leap of faith. We do have an earth sign involved, possibly, sorry, something popped up on my screen, possibly a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, but not necessarily. It could just be you feeling very like secure in the manifest world. And I do want to say there's a small possibility, because we have the deception card, and pay attention to the red flags, that there could be a third person involved, and it could be possibly an earth sign. It's going to be different for everybody. You know, everyone has different circumstances, but either way, there's a brand new beginning. You know, you're full in love. You're taking a leap of faith regardless, it looks like. But just, you know, just be aware that is a possibility. So this is why it's so important to have the open, clear communication, to make sure you're both on the same page. You know, if you decide to get intimate with someone, it's okay to ask those questions. Is there anyone else involved? You know, are you married? You know, do you have a girlfriend, boyfriend? It's okay to ask those questions if you're getting physically intimate. You know, if you're doing the most intimate act, it's okay to ask the intimate questions. Okay, so let me go ahead and get one more card for you, Pisces. Oh, no. Okay. Wow. I'm going to just go with them. We have a whole array of cards for you, Pisces. Let me see how they all play out here. Okay, so we have the parental care card, and I feel like that, for some reason, I feel like that's going with the finances and career. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. For those of you who that resonates with, you'll know what that means. We have spiritual growth, be true to you. Right? It goes right back to the Ace of Winter about really being true to who you are, saying your truth. We have decisions being made, which of course makes sense because we have brand new beginnings. And we have heavenly signs as well. So, and because we have the spiritual growth and the heavenly signs, there's a lot of support for you, if you're open to it, to your guides and angels giving you guidance. Heavenly signs can show up in terms of synchronicities and symbolically, things that seem symbolically important to you. You'll know they'll have a certain numinosity to them, a certain resonance to you. Like, oh, I think that means something, you know. And then the spiritual growth, you're undergoing spiritual growth. You always do. Whenever you go have the renewal card, it's like you're really kind of doing a life review, and you're understanding that you're a spiritual being first, and you have a spiritual being having the human experience, and that's kind of what you do with that renewal card in a lot of different ways. If not consciously, it's there. So, okay. There you have it, Pisces. I hope you find that helpful. I wish you much love as always, and I will see you on the next video or at your private reading. Till then.